Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Strive session. We will be doing a guided yoga practice today with some elements of Pilates and strengthening interweaved in the mix. My name's Caitlin. I'll be one of your instructors today. And just to introduce the practice of yoga, we really want to focus on being mindful today and not being too hard on ourselves, and just working within the limits of your body today in the space.
And just to give a little bit of a disclosure, we have a beginner here as well. So Andrew, who will be with us today, this is one of his first times ever doing yoga. So if he's able to, feel comfortable doing something new, then you should also feel comfortable pushing your limits a little bit and really getting outside the box. So don't feel ashamed if something is too hard or you need to make modifications. Just accept the practice.
All right, thank you, Celine. And yes, our session will start standing up on our mat. So just finding a good space in your house. If you ever need to hold on to anything, it's good to have those items nearby. So for starters, we're just going to stand parallel with our legs, engaging in the upper quads and making sure that the sides of our feet are parallel to the sides of the mat. All four corners of the feet pressing firmly into the floor. On an inhale, reach up the sides of your body. On an exhale, fold up and over your firm legs to place your hands on the mat or any sort of support you may have. On an inhale, come up to a flat back position, long through the neck. On an exhale, drop back down over the legs. And on an inhale, draw the tailbone down to reach your arms back up to the ceiling. Exhale to prayer. 2 more times like that. Inhale up. Exhale, folding up and over your legs. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold up and over. Drawing the tailbone down to come back up to the sky. Exhale, Namaskar. 1 more time. Inhale up. Exhale, fold up and over your legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold over. Drawing the tailbone down to sweep your arms up the sides of your body, long through the neck. And exhale. Great, good job, guys. So to make it a little bit more advanced, we're gonna step into what we call sun salutation or Surya Namaskar A in yoga. So we'll run through it really slowly with you guys and feel free to do it as many times as you'd like on your own time. We'll just do it once here today. So it starts very similarly. On an inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold up and over your legs. Inhale to flat back. Here's where we see a difference. You're gonna place your hands on the ground and you're gonna step back into a plank position. So trying to push the floor away from you, long through the back, hips in line with your torso. And you can drop your knees and drop halfway down into a push-up position. From here, you're gonna scoop your upper body to open your chest forward in an upward facing dog, just like Andrew's doing right now. Curling your toes under, you're going to draw your hips back and up to a downward facing dog. So creating a nice V with your body, heels trying to get to the floor, but no pressure. Looking to your hands, you can either hop or step to the front of your mat to come back to a halfway position, folding up and over your legs. And then as we started drawing the tailbone down, arms up back to the ceiling. Exhale to prayer. Great job. So in Celine's view, you'll really be able to see the work on the floor in terms of the plank. So now we're gonna go to Surya Namaskar B. So do as many of A as you want, but now we're doing part B, a little bit more advanced. We start in a chair pose. So that means drawing back with your hips, bending your legs like you're squeezing something between your legs, keeping your hips level, head in line with your arms. Chair pose, and then folding up and over your legs. Inhale, flat back once again. Exhale, place your hands on the ground. You're going to step back into that plank pose once again, pushing away from the floor. When you're ready, you can lower halfway down. You can modify by placing your knees on the ground, scooping up through the chest to open up to the front, curling the toes under to draw your pelvis up to a downward facing dog. From here, a change. So you're going to root the left heel into the ground on an angle, about a 45-degree angle, and you're going to step your right leg in between your arms in the front, so kind of hitting a lunge with the back leg turned out. From here, finding your balance, pressing into all four corners of the feet, you're going to come up to a warrior one. So arms overhead, hips trying to face the front. So making sure your hips are square. Andrew's showing that really well in his frame. On an exhale, come back down to frame the foot, stabilize in the back leg, make it parallel, and then stepping back into that downward facing dog. From here, we'll do our flow again. So that means coming into a plank, lowering halfway down, scooping up to an upward facing dog. Great job. Drawing those hips back. Excellent. From here, once again, warrior one on the other side. So rooting that back foot at an angle. Now it's your right foot. Stepping in between your hands with your left foot. Stabilizing in your hips. To come up, you can put your hands wherever you want. Really pressing into the outer edge of that back leg. On an exhale, frame your foot, parallel that back foot, stepping back into a plank, lowering halfway down, coming up to upward facing dog, drawing the hips back. And from here, rising onto our tiptoes, bending the knees to either hop or step to the front of your mat. Coming up to halfway. Exhale to fold over. Drawing your hips down into that final chair pose. Hold it for a little bit longer. Make sure your knees and hips are level. And exhale to come back up. Excellent. So do either of those sets, either A or B, however many times you want. Next, we're going to be working a little bit more on our upper body and dissecting some of the positions that we saw in the sun salutation. So just hitting a nice plank position, getting onto the floor in whatever way is easiest, placing your hands on the mat, really trying to press down at the base of your index finger. And when you're ready, stepping your legs back into a plank. Pushing away from the ground. Holding, really engaging in the glutes. Excellent. So if you would like to take a break in between, by all means. Otherwise, you can lower yourself onto your forearms for a forearm plank. Really trying to find a line from your heels to the tip of your head, pressing out from the floor. Make sure your shoulders aren't sinking, and one final breath to rest your knees. So just to seal that part of the practice, you can fold back into a child's pose. That means your hips are resting on your heels and you're stretching out through your back. Great. So now coming up to all fours, we're gonna explore that downward dog that we saw in the Surya Namaskar. So curling your toes under, pressing into your hands, lifting your pelvis up to reach that nice V position from before. So heels striving to get to the ground, but don't compromise everything else. You want to feel your armpits trying to face each other, but also making sure that the inner part of your elbows are in line. So a bit of a twisting action in the upper arm. Pressing into the hands, if you feel comfortable, shift your weight into your left leg and try and lift your right leg a little bit off the ground, maintaining a parallel stance of the leg. Excellent. Replacing it back down and trying the other side. So shifting the weight into the the right heel and lifting your left leg. Hips level. Great. Coming back to that downward dog. From here, looking to our hands, I find it easiest to just step in between your hands to a low lunge position. So you can really see on Celine's angle, trying to get a 90-degree angle with that front leg. So your knees shouldn't be passing your toes. From here, rooting your left hand into the ground, you can open up to the right side and get a twist with your body. Trying to keep your back leg straight and engaged. From here, place your hand back down to frame your foot. And from here, we can place our hands into the ground and go back into a downward facing dog, trying to hit that external rotation of the upper arms once again. Strong through the torso. Stepping your left foot this time in between your arms for a left low lunge. Great. And when you're ready, back leg engaged, spreading your front toes on the ground, pressing that right hand into the floor and opening up towards the left for a nice twist. Opening up the chest, one last breath, and placing your hand back down. Rooting through the hands and stepping back into a downward facing dog. And to finish off, just bring your knees down to the ground is the safest way. And if you want to take a break, you can go back into a child's pose.
Excellent. So when you feel ready, you can stay in this position for as long as you want, but if you feel good to go, or you can continue on with us. If that's the end of your practice for today, that's also okay. But if you feel ready, we can come up into a crescent lunge. So starting on your knees, we can take your right leg and just bring it forward. If you really want to feel support by all corners of your feet pressing into the ground, and then if you feel stabilized, you can reach your arms overhead. And if you feel stable, you can even look up to the ceiling. And if you feel even more stable, you can open up your arms to try to widen your chest and really feel the connection to the ground. Great. So then just coming back down, if you want, you can use your hand to support you, but we're just going to switch legs. All right, so again, feeling supported in our front leg, feeling the connection to the ground. Just reach your arms overhead, maybe look up, maybe open up your chest and feel the chest open. Feel that stretch. Okay, one last breath. Place the arms down. Excellent. So now we're going to come up to a standing position. So we're going to come up into wide legs. So first, just put your feet somewhat hip width apart. If you want, you can turn your toes out or front ahead, whichever is most comfortable for you. And we're just going to raise our arms overhead. One breath in here, and then just like with the sun salutation, we're going to fold over, flat, and then collapse onto the floor. If your hands aren't able to touch the ground yet, that's okay. You want to just cross your hands here and feel the stretch, that's okay too. One more breath in here. And on an exhale, flat, come up. Excellent. So now we're going to go back to the floor and we're going to start to do a bit more work on our core and on our back. So placing both of your feet hip distance apart, bent legs, you can roll down and bring your awareness to your shoulders. So the back of your shoulders should be pressing into the ground. And you can bring your feet in a little bit. And what we're going to do is root through the heel and with strong hips, tuck in the tailbone. So really feel the connection of your lower back to the mat. And then come up into a bridge. Really feeling the connection of your heels to the ground and feeling your shoulders supporting you. And if you want to keep your hands just on the mat beside you, that's okay. If you want to interlace your fingers, feel a stretch in your chest, that's okay too. We're really just sitting here, breathing in and breathing out. You should feel a tightness in your hamstrings and in your glutes. And on your next exhale, just lower down. That was hard. But now we're going to work on our abs a bit. So what we're going to do is you can start in the same position and really feel yourself rooting through your hips into the mat. And how we might start this is maybe tucking your chin into your chest, putting your arms out to the side, leaning back a little bit. And if you feel comfortable, you can just gently raise one leg into a bent position. And then if you feel steady, you can raise the other leg. Or you can put one leg down and keep just one leg up and just alternate like that. But if you feel ready, go up into boat. And then again, if you feel stable here, you can maybe straighten one leg. If you want, you can straighten the other. If you want, you might be here. That's okay too. But if you feel ready, coming up into boat and trying to find balance in the pose. I'm shaking too. Excellent. Now we can bring our feet down and be very happy that we just did that. Because we're gonna do something again that's related to abs. So we're gonna get back onto our all four position. And we're just going to bring our knee to our chest. And if you want, if you feel steady, you can come up into a plank and make the position a little bit more challenging by bringing that knee in and rooting through your hands, straight back leg. And then we're going to switch legs. So again, you can come down on all fours and bring the leg in like this, that's okay. But if you feel comfortable, start in a plank, raise the leg, and just bring it into your chest, pushing the mat away from you, and breathing. Great. So you can place that back leg down, come back down onto all fours, and then gently find your way onto your stomach. Now you can take your hands and put both hands by your shoulders, and then just pressing into your hands, coming up into a sphinx. Now don't look up, don't look forward, maybe look a little bit in front of you, feeling supported with your elbows, your hands, maybe feeling warmth rising in your lower back. And then letting go and coming to the mat. Now we're gonna go back onto on fours, and we're gonna go into a cat-cow. Now this is really great for opening up your chest, for opening up your back. So on an exhale, you round your back, push away the mat, come into cat. And then on a breath, really sinking in your stomach, pushing your hips up to the sky, coming into cow. And then again, pushing the mat away, tucking in your tailbone. Breath out. Again, sinking, transitioning into cow. And you can do this as many times as you like. But when you feel like your back is nice and warm, you can relax. Okay, so now we're going to do a bit of a glute strengthening workout. So that's your butt. We're gonna go back to all fours, same position as cat-cow, and keep one leg out straight, all right? And then on an exhale, just lift it up. And then on an inhale, bring it down. And we're just gonna do that 10 times. So I already did 2, but we'll start by 0. So, okay, 1, and down. 2, and down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and 10. Awesome. So you can just come back down to all fours. Maybe do another cat-cow if you want. Maybe take a rest, but if you're ready, straighten the other leg. Give me another 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Coming right down to all fours. Maybe going back into a child's pose just to relax. And congratulate yourself because the hard work is done and we just have one more stretch coming up next. So we're gonna come into frog's legs. So that means bringing your feet in. Maybe you've heard this as butterfly before, and you really wanna feel like your feet are a book and we're opening it up. And you wanna open up your hips. Feel like gravity is doing the work for you, pushing your hips down. You might be here, that's okay. And then taking one of your feet and just gently placing it out in front of you. And then bringing both your hands to the side, and then try to keeping your lower back as straight as possible. Just gently come forward as much as you can go. Maybe you're here, maybe you're here, it's okay. And then if you feel ready, you can just collapse. Couple breaths here. Great. Now roll back up. You can grab your leg, bring it in, again to frog's legs, feel your hips opening again, read your book, and then bring your other leg out in front of you. Again, straight lower back, tiptoe the hands front, feeling that lower back stretch, feeling your hamstring stretch, trying to keep your toes pointed upward if you can. And then on an exhale, just collapsing grabbing for your toes or as far as you can go. And then coming up gently, bringing your leg in to read your book again and be happy because we have just one more stretch left. And this is one of my favorite stretches. So it's called Eagle Pose. You can come into an easy seat if you wish, or legs crossed, whichever you prefer. And now this is going to be a good stretch to stretch out your shoulders and your back. So you're going to take both of your arms out and feel your reach, and then gently cross one arm over the other, and then almost pretzel your arms so that you feel a deep stretch in your back. And Caitlin, if you have any cues here, I know you know this pose better than me, perhaps.
You're doing great. Just make sure that you try and roll your shoulders back and down at the same time as drawing your arms up towards the sky, just like Celine and Andrew are doing. If you can't fully wrap your arms around, that's completely fine. Just try and get those shoulders back and down while the arms come up.
Okay. And then when you're ready, just bring your arms back out. And then following your breath, other side. Just trying to remember which arm was crisscrossed under the first time. It's probably the hardest part. This is great if you're sitting at a desk all day. And then gently coming out of it, placing our arms down. And so with every practice, we want to finish it with corpse pose or shavasana, and it's the period of rest. So it's a time to quiet your mind, quiet your body, relax all the muscles, and just go inward and really let your body remember all of the work that you just did. And it's a very simple pose. We're just going to get down on our mats, roll down, lay your hands by your sides, lay your feet down. And just breathe. Now you can stay here for as long as you like. This is a time for you to think, not think about anything or think about how you feel. And then when you're ready, maybe gently wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe hug your knees into your chest. Maybe roll to one side. Placing your hand down and just gently pressing yourself up into a seated position. And that is all we have for you.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you to Andrew for practicing with us for the first time. Have a lovely day.